Alrighty. So I've been starting this little, I guess, video journal. Just about um, my thoughts and my feelings on everything from relationships to the Lord. And so I find that it's very therapeutic for me to to express, because I just come to the realization that when you're one of God's children, you're not going to get along with the majority of the world, because it's only a select few of us. 9 times out of 10, even if you are with are hanging with people in the world, when you go to start talking about Jesus and how good God is, people will scatter from you, and then they don't want to come back around you, because they be like, Lord have mercy, that's all she do. She just, you know what I'm saying? And then they want to, when you like that and you in the world, and you know what I'm saying, even though you in the world, you can't help but to reflect on the goodness of God. And then people will say, oh, well, you a hypocrite, you are this and you are that. But I never claimed to be what they call it, sanctified, and no, I'm not. I know I'm a sinner. I'm a sinner to down to my core, and every day it's a struggle, and it's a battle for me not to let sin overtake me, because I am, because when you read His holy, I should have went that way. When you read His holy word and you meditate on it, that stuff, it resides in your heart. So over and over again, I keep hearing myself say, the wages of sin is death. The wages of sin is death. And it might not be a natural death, but it's better to be naturally dead than to be spiritually dead. Because when you are spiritually dead and you no longer have that open line of communication with the Lord because you're dead, how horrible and how miserable life must be when you don't connect with God. That means that you don't have any type of feelings for anybody else except for maybe yourself, and maybe those that are closest to you. But when you're one of God's children, you have feelings and emotions and empathy, sympathy. You have all of these emotions that you feel for people that you don't even know, because that's the love that God gives us, is the unconditional love. And when you're filled with His Spirit, you have that type of love for other people. Now, don't get me wrong. I get mad and I get upset, and whew, especially with my kids, they tear my nerves all to pieces. But at the same token, I cannot, and I can say this too, because sometimes I am judgmental, especially when it comes to um, when it comes to seeing people on the side of the road begging and asking for change. You know what I'm saying? And at one point in my life, what I used to do is, if I would see somebody out like that, before I would give them any money, I say, let's pray. Let's pray that you don't have to be out here begging for money, that God opens up a door for you to be able to do the things that you need to do for yourself. Because, believe it or not, this begging with your hand out syndrome is like, it's becoming an epidemic. And it's like everybody, except for the people that's out here busting their tails, everybody wants somebody to give them something. It's a spirit of entitlement. Like, you know, you think that because you're this or you're that, or you got this or you got that, or because you don't have this or you don't have that, that somebody's supposed to give it to you. And I mean, true indeed, it's out there for you to get. But the Bible clearly tells us to put our thoughts and our focus on pleasing the Lord, and then everything else that we want, He'll give it to us, because He's our Father and He's a good Father. But He's not going to give you something that's going to eventually pull you away from Him. And I've noticed that with my own self. Like, I'll get to a certain, like, I'll go through the struggle, I'll go through the struggle, I'll go through the struggle, I'll come out of the struggle, and then it's like God elevates me to another level, and it's like, oh, now, you know, my praise and my